Hey guys, happy Friday. Hope you are all doing extremely well. I'm sorry about being a little bit late. I have been on back-to-back calls. So let's get started with some of the great questions from you guys. I always love coming on here and helping you any way I can possible. So the first question we have is from Kristen Lander. And her question is, how do I learn how to run team meetings and at what frequency to build my team and culture? The background is, I just brought on another coach in my one-on-one nutrition coaching business and aim to bring on several more this year. I want to cultivate an environment of leading, educating, and supporting my team altogether. I've been a solopreneur my entire adult life. I'm not even sure where to begin, what the meeting should consist of, or how often. So Kristen, I'm an EOS implementer, and so that is actually what I do. I implement structure in companies. So a lot of times when I'm starting off with beginning entrepreneurs, I walk them through self-implementing EOS themselves, right? If you ever need guidance from that, I can help you with that aspect. But my suggestion for you with building a meeting is, my pet peeve is it's the same time, it's the same day, and it's about 90 minutes, right? And you have to make it to that meeting or else. So I will always say, either if you're dead or you're extremely sick or you're on vacation, you can miss the meeting. But it's the same time every week, same day every week, and it goes 90 minutes every week. Now, how I run my meetings. I run my meetings with a segue. So I have 5 minutes for a segue, good in personal, good in business, and they run through that. Then we go into our measurables, which are our KPIs or our rocks, things like that. And then it gets down to our issues that we discuss, right? And we have 90 minutes. That's all we have in there. And that's exactly how I always run my meetings. So again, same time, same place, and same day of the week. Either you're dead, you're on vacation, or you're extremely sick. That is how I do it, and that is the frequencies that I do it. Now, I run my meetings with my leadership team once a week, but then on top of that, if it's my CEO, so say at the electrical company where I'm at, my other half and I will meet once a month to actually discuss the company, just us two. And that's once a month, and that's ran exactly the same way. So the second question I get is from Grant Elliott. The question was, how do I scale my online coaching business to begin bringing on new coaches to work with my clients? And the background question, my company helps people via an online low back rehab program. My clients mostly find me on social media and build trust with me personally. How do I build messaging and processes so when they sign up, they're okay working with one of my coaches, trainers, instead of me personally? So again, how do I scale my online coaching business to begin bringing on new coaches to work with clients? So there's numerous of ways that you can do that. And you always probably want to be the face of the company, but you don't have to be the face of the company either, right? You can do a video onboarding, and then when they come on, they get the nurture onboarding from you, but then they go off to a coach of their specialty, right? Or you can even have them fill out a questionnaire, and it takes them directly to the right coach that they need for that niche to help them, right? So that is a way about going through that. And you can also have it where they come on and they see other coaches, but the price point to work with you is at a different level, right? So they can get the coaches that were already trained by you of what your expertise is in that field, or they can pay a little bit more and get you one-on-one. So I would work it that way. I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing on new coaches and pushing them on to other or the new clients that are coming in, just as long as they feel like that coach can take care of their needs, right? So the next question we have is Grant Elliott again, and it says, how do I determine what hires to make to continue scaling my online coaching business? And the background question. My company helps people via an online low back rehab. So I just read this, but how do I determine my role in the company right now? I do mostly everything. As far as demonstrations and closing a new client, I can do that. Can I hire someone to do that? Absolutely. You should absolutely be doing that. So my answer to your question is, if you have not read the book, Get a Grip, I highly recommend that book. It is going to teach you a little bit about where a visionary is and an integrator is, right? The reason why is because you're a visionary, but it's okay to wear multiple hats when we're coming into our company. But you need to start scheduling out accountability chart. And with an accountability chart, it is going to help you to structure those functions in the company, where then you can put the roles, which are like their tasks to do, and who owns that function. So my suggestion to you is Traction, Get a Grip, read those books, and you'll understand the whole concept of when you bring people on and how you organize it going forward. Because it's okay for you to wear multiple hats in the beginning, but as your business expands, you can't do that anymore, right? So you have to start giving those roles and those functions over to other people to make sure that you can elevate, right? So as I say, you need to elevate to delegate. So you need to delegate tasks so you can elevate yourself and your position in your company. So I hope that answers your question. The next one I have is Dan Broden. And the question is, how do I hire people that I can depend on? And the back end of the question is, I own and operate a carpet, upholstery, and tile grout cleaning company. I am having a very hard time finding someone who is reliable and can show up on time. So how do I hire people that I can depend on? So this is the number one question that I feel like all of us are actually working with right now. And unfortunately, the answer to that one is you just have to keep hiring, right? And you need to hire for your core values. So you need to make sure that you have your core values in order. But really, the test of time is the people that come on board, and if they can stick and they're with you and they keep going, they keep pushing forward with you. Right now is really, it is a difficult time for a lot of people for hiring and finding the right positions. But even putting it out there when you're hiring of exactly the roles of what your company does, what you're looking for, your core values, where you see the company going, and really by following that, you should be able to get some great people in. Also referrals, right? A referral program, trying to ask a friend, hey, do you know somebody that can come in and help work that has my core values? You know, I'm maybe giving a bonus out to get somebody to come in and work for me, or it's just a friend. So he's going to do it honestly for you, no matter what. Core values and who you are as a company and a person is going to attract the right people that come in. So I'm always about writing your core values. When you talk about your company, you want to talk about the vision, the core values that you have, your niche, how you are as a company, and then it's going to attract the right people that are going to be coming in that you want to work with. The next question is Heather Brockman, and says, what are initial things for me to take into consideration when launching our completive e-commerce, e-commerce store in our business? So the back end question is, our mobile pet grooming company is starting our online store. We currently have a few of our own products that are live, but I was wanting to offer more products. Is it best to start with an inventory on hand or offer drop shipping? And if so, their website and our best findings for them. Oh, good question. I don't know any drop shipping companies that do pet grooming mobile stuff. There is one company that I work with that you can always reach out to me if you want to, and I can link them with you. He's actually does my e-commerce store that I have, and he will drop ship for me. So I'll ship all my products out there and he'll drop ship. But as far as, initial things that you need for consideration within launching the store, you need to make sure, this is the one thing that I hiccuped on in the beginning, is making sure that you have all your apps exactly how you want them and organized. And Shopify is really good with helping you organize that yourself. You can even hire a virtual, and they're really, really cheap if you can do that. And they'll help you to guide you with what you need to put on that store. But I really entice you to make sure that you get like the apps for the CEO. I know like there's the handicap now apps that you need to download. And for drop shipping, I feel like drop shipping is easier when you get to a certain point. So if you're constantly shipping things out, I feel like at that point, drop shipping makes life easier. But if you're really only maybe selling a couple items a week or, during the day, it probably isn't going to take that much to wrap it up and send it out, right? But it might not be worth hiring somebody that does that for you. It'd be cheaper to drop ship it. So that's something that you have to look at and utilize. You can always message me for the people that I use for mine. I would be happy to share that with you, and you can see what works for you. The next question I have is from Tiffany Rush. And it says, how do I develop centers of influence in my business? Background question. I am a new real estate agent, and I've heard developing centers of influence will build your business by having the right kind of people to surround yourself with. So how do I develop centers of influence in my business? So my question for you is, who talks about your company? Why are they talking about your company? Right? So your influences, should be around your community that you're working with, right? It's not like a Facebook or Instagram or social media. You're dealing with the people around you. So how are you involved with certain things in the community, right? And who are you involved in the community? Are you doing non organizations? Are you stepping in and helping with certain organizations within the company and getting those right people around you? Are you going to events that the other people are going to that you should be going and mingling with? So the thing about finding the core people for yourself that you want to surround to get that influence, you need to make sure that you're hitting all of these things, right? Are you involved? I mean, I don't know how your Chamber of Commerce is there. Are you involved at the Chamber of Commerce? Are you actually meeting with certain people? Are you going to events? Finding out what is in your community is actually huge for expansion and growth within what you're doing. But also, I do feel like social media, especially the realm of Facebook, you can really target the people that are around your area and brand yourself on social media. Really talk about your company, what your company has to offer, what you value people around you for, and what people value you around for as well. The one biggest thing that I have learned in business is you can talk about how great you are. You can promote yourself online as much as you want to, or talk to other people about you. But if somebody else refers you, it is way better than you ever talking about yourself. So make sure that you start making an impact and helping people for the generosity of your heart to do something. And then that will start getting those right people in that will get that influence for you. The next question I have is from Stephen Cox. At what point do I give up on a highly profitable sale? The background. I have a customer I have done signs for before, and at this point of doing those signs, inquired about other signs on the property. Since then, I have given the proofs and prices, have not heard anything back. During the winter month, he is less prone to be in the office and be with the family. But I have sent multiple emails and left messages with his secretary. Do I give up on the sale and stop trying to contact him? So that is a great question. You don't want to be a nuisance, right? You don't want to keep going at something if you're not getting anything out of it. So you don't want to keep, beating your head against the wall. So my question to you is, if you've emailed, if you called, if you sent him a letter in the mail, I would give it a break for a couple months, maybe set a timer, go back in maybe in about another month, 2 months, or 3 months, and check in again and do the same routine. So if he was a great client, I would constantly maybe do that routine like every 3 months or every 4 months. And then after you do it probably 2 or 3 times, you'll get the gist if he wants to come back as a client or not. You can also do a follow-up email and ask if there's anything that you could do better within your business to help other businesses, right? Just say, hey, I really need some feedback. I really want to make sure that I'm better for other customers. Can you give me some feedback on how I can do things better? I always do that to my clients still to this day. Even when we have, online courses, I say, what can I do better to serve you guys in the long run or other people in the long run? Next question is from Joshua Cortez, and it says, am I being lazy? So the background is, I get more work done working remotely at a Panera Bread or in the car than in my home office, and that's in my room. My room is small, but the windows are small. I can't see nature. My office desk is in my room, but so is my bed. I seem to get more work done when I'm able to stare at nature when I'm in the car or when I'm at Panera Bread. Is there any way to set things up to be more productive? So I don't remember who I read this from a while ago, but they talked about doing business sitting on a couch or in your bed, and our brains work to the fact that when we're in our bed, our brains think this is bedtime, it's sleep time, right? So it kind of, commingles if you're doing work in there as well. The same with the couch. The couch is usually where you have your TV, you have your downtime, and so your brain seems to think that, right? You may think different, but your brain doesn't. It's functioned that way. So to be quite honest, I set up an office in my room because I know that if I work downstairs in the kitchen, I'm not as productive as I am in my office, right? Now, if I didn't have an office, I would probably be doing the same thing you're doing. I would be going to a Panera Bread or I'd be working in my car. So honestly, I don't think you're being lazy at all. I think you're actually super smart with doing those things because you are going to be more productive. So that is something that I highly, highly recommend that you do. So I don't recommend people to work in their rooms, and I do not recommend people to work, on their couches or anything like that. Next question is from Quad Sturdy. And the question is, should initial inquiries be personalized or scripted? Background question. I am currently looking to expand my network, both clients and suppliers. I am wondering if it is necessary to custom make each email for each receipt. I feel like a scripted approach will streamline the process. However, I don't want it to come off robotic. For example, there are 5 kitchen suppliers on my radar. Would love to know the best way to curate those relationships. So, this again is definitely a question that can possibly change. And the reason why I say that is if it's a supplier, let me read this again. I'm working if necessary to customize, make each email for my recipient. I feel like a scripted approach for both clients and suppliers. Okay. So if it's a supplier that you're getting it from, I think a scripted email is fine. If they're a great supplier and they're really helping you out, I would personally send them like a thank you card or anything else that is more personalized as you are working with them more and you're getting more involved with them, because you want to keep that personal. But you can always have your secretary or whomever write up a thank you card, or you write them up and send them off like every 3 months or whatever for the people that you are, or your suppliers. Now your clients, that is this, honestly, I feel like it's the same thing. If it's a client and you could do a scripted email back to them, but what I do for my clients is every single one of my clients, if they order from me, they get a handwritten note saying thank you, but they also get a scripted email sent to them as well. It's not personalized, right? Because as you grow, you can't do that for everybody, right? So once you get people in your team can write those little notes or those thank you cards that you add in, when you ship off a product, or you can just send it to them monthly. So let's take an essence for my electrical company. Every single month, whomever comes into our service side for us to work gets a handwritten thank you card. Now, for my skincare company, whomever orders any products online, I send them a handwritten note saying thank you with the receipt attached, right? Now, my coaching clients, my higher end coaching clients that I work with, I will send them an actual gift, probably about every quarter or every 6 months. They'll get a nice gift from me, and that's my thank you. So that is how I do it going forward. But for my suppliers, I don't ever do anything customized. They just get a regular email sent to them. Next question is from Mark Rodriguez. And the question says, how do I transition to a different professional segment, business model that I will create ongoing residual income? The background question is, I have been an S Corp in an automotive training sector since 2002. I feel stuck in an industrial where this is all I feel qualified to do. This is train sales, communication and sales and services in auto dealership. I no longer have the passion and drive I once had. I find myself being one phone call from going out of business and 2 phone calls away from being overbooked. During the pandemic, I made investments in podcast equipment and have had generated $1 of revenue for going live on Facebook. Feeling lost and left behind. Turning 56 this month, frustrated. Well, brother, that is a question you have to ask yourself. How do I transition to a different profession segment, business model that will create ongoing residential income? I can't speak today. Income. This is a question I feel like I need more guidance for. I can't tell you what to do within your life or what your passion is or what gets you. And that's something that I feel like you have to do and you have to soul search. So if I were you, I would sit down. I would write out probably about 10 to 20 things that you are passionate about, that you absolutely love doing. And I'm not saying going away from the automotive, because if that's your means of income, you need to keep that until your other Your other boat is sailing and you can sink the other boat, right? But think out of the box. Think things of what you can possibly do that you're passionate about. So you're into car motive. You've been there for years. What can you do to create an income coming in from that? Can you be a coach that supports others in that aspect and build a subscription on what they need to do to get that business up and running? Maybe you can reach out to other individuals and have them help you contour that business model, right? It's a hard question. I really can't give you the fact of going within another business. I mean, I would say that if you're doing the podcast and you're doing the lives and you like it and you're enjoying it, keep doing it until it resonates to something. Don't give up on it. Keep pushing forward, right? And that's the same thing you have to do. You have to figure out what your passions are. What do you love to do? What gets you up in the morning? What do you strive to do? And then you need to follow that and create a pattern on how you can do that and going forward. So make 10 to 20 list of what your passion is, what you enjoy doing, and start inquiring that in your days, little by little by little, okay? The next question we have is from Cody Hendrickson, and it says, how do I get above barely enough? So the background question is, it seems that when I was an employee, my paycheck was barely enough. Now that I'm a business owner, I'm making more money in the business than I ever seen, but still barely making it. Why is this? Well, this is what happens sometimes when you start a business and start operating and as you're growing. Sometimes you feel like you're not getting paid enough for what you need to do going forward. So my suggestion to you is what you're bringing in as far as income wise with a company. You should be taking about 40%. I would say I would say what you can live on. You take that aside and you put that aside of what you can live on, right? And then you want to grow the company. So in order to grow the company, you do have to take some of that money and reinvest it into the company. Now, what I do within my business now, because it's established, is I take what I bring in a month, I take 10% of that, and I put that away, okay? That is my storage. Then I go in and I take the rest of it to go ahead and pay the bills and do all of that. Then the rest of the money is going back into the business to make the business excel. So maybe look at your end game. So reverse engineer it. Look at, okay, these are my expenses every month that I have to do. What do I have to do? Like, are all of these expenses necessary? Go over that, then start backlinking of what your total is that brings in the month, and then start revisiting that, right? And then start upping that if you want to. If you want to start reinvesting that money or putting that money aside, start pulling that and start making more profit off of the company going forward. So kind of reverse engine that, right? So I hope that helps you guys today. And if you need anything, let me know. And I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.